Welcome everybody to another live edition of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega, and I'm joined by the boss Chris Blackheart with a grin on his face. You know, we're just talking about your ghost experiences, but
Wow.
now we're live.
We are live. And where are we from? We're from the 1776 unrestricted, unbanned, always carrying studio of Dan Badanti.
Yes,
Special
indeed.
guest today,
Jay Evans.
Yes, indeed. Today, live in studio, we haven't had a guest in a while, but we have SPW star Jay Evans in the house. Welcome to the Showcase Pod.
Thank you.
Like we always like to start off, how do you get hooked in professional wrestling?
Honestly, growing up, it was really tough for me. Growing up in a Portuguese traditional household, very religious. For those of you who don't know, I am a gay man. It was quite lonely. My mom was sick up until I was 10 when she passed away. And then after that, my entire family kind of drifted apart. My dad relied on alcohol to go through. He was bringing home different women every night, introducing them, where I kind of grew up on watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. So at the age of 11, I was taken away from my dad because when I tried coming out to him, he beat me senseless to the fact where I got taken away from him. So I kind of resorted to amateur wrestling as a way to kind of find a coping mechanism, to find a family, kind of like a safe ground, I guess you can say. Mm-hmm. And up until I was 18, I kind of wanted to keep going with it. So, watching wrestling growing up, I was like, why not try professional wrestling? And one day I tried it out, and history.
What school did you wrestle for?
For like amateur wrestling?
Amateur wrestling, yeah.
So I went to, when I started off, I was at Riverside Middle School. And then I went to 3 different high schools just because of the DCYF system and all that. I was transitioning from different high schools. So I was at East Providence High School, Honey Sanchez, JSEC, and then Coventry High School.
Okay. So you always liked professional wrestling, even when you was doing the amateur wrestling in school. Who were some of the people that you watched? Was this like Attitude Era at that point in time, or a little bit further on?
It was a little further on. I guess in between, I guess you can say. I kind of grew up watching like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. Hurricane was one of, and Rico. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were like my top guys.
Okay. So did you know about pro wrestling, like locally, like independent wrestling, or how do you find out about independent wrestling?
Yeah, so my last day of amateur wrestling, a guy came up to me. He was talking to me about professional wrestling, asking me if I would ever gotten into it. So he gave me a card, and the place that he was located at was in West Warwick. So that's how I kind of figured out, like, local-wise. I didn't really think of anything about it. I didn't really think I would do anything like to get involved in professional wrestling until that opportunity opened up.
Okay, so before that, you wasn't aware of independent wrestling?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Blackhart, you're in awe over here.
No, I'm just
gonna ask some questions.
I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, how much can you throw so quick, Mr. Evans?
Yeah.
You jumped in the deep end quick, so.
Yeah.
We'll backtrack, but
Yeah, no, all right. So you're a young man, 10 years old,
Yeah.
struggling with yourself.
Yeah.
Came out to your dad.
Yeah.
Didn't go over well.
No.
And now, is that because you think because of your mom passing, being an alcoholic, the Portuguese culture?
Yeah. What it's called? Yeah, my family's just very old-fashioned, traditional. Everyone has a different beliefs. Everyone has their own ways. So I don't hold anything against them. At the end of the day, we may have 2 different beliefs. We may have 2 different opinions, but doesn't mean we can't respect one another in a sense. That's how I view it as.
Okay. So once you met this individual that kind of introduced you to what is independent wrestling, you start training. How does that come about?
Yeah, so I ended up calling him. He basically gave me the address and all that. I went, I trained for about a year and a half, and then it was like in 2018, that's when I started training. And then up until 2020, right before the pandemic hit, I worked in the medical field, so I kind of had to resort all my attention to the medical field just because at that time and era, it was a very difficult time for the medical field.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you recall some of your trainers, your teachers at the school?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you recall back at some of your trainers who were some of your original trainers back at the school?
Oh, so the people that I was originally trained by was Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, the first horseman, I guess you can say, from
Yes.
the, you know,
Okay.
So we're literally in your backyard.
yeah.
XWA used to have a place down here.
Yes, Westwork, yeah.
And did you have a problem finding their building like you had the problem finding the building today? Or?
The first day, yeah, I'll admit that. It was basically tough, but yeah, I guess it's like we're over here once you get to it.
Hey, don't feel bad. It took me like, 4 years to find Walters, and that's before
Yeah.
GPS. But no, it was ironic when people was like, hey, it's a wrestling school. Sometimes the hardest part is really finding it and going through that door, especially, typically you're not doing the high price,
Yeah.
prime real estate. So what was your first impression when you walked through that door?
For which one? Showcase or XWA?
No, we're still down XWA. So the first
Yeah.
time, so you got a call from,
Yeah.
was it Mike Annucci?
Yes, yes.
And Mike said, hey, we're on a wrestling school down here in
Yeah.
Warwick. Why don't you come down?
So yeah, my first impression with the XWA, in all honesty, was very overwhelming. I kind of came in, I just saw a bunch of like big guys staring at me. I felt, me, I'm 5'8", very tiny compared to everybody else, and I'm just looking at them like, okay, like how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get involved? So it was very overwhelming. So
Okay. Do you
like, how am
remember
I
some of
gonna
the
do
guys that were with you around that time training?
Yeah, so RBG is one of them. Joey Bones. I'm trying to figure out who else as well. Livia as well.
Okay. So then after that, did you get any matches going? Were you a part of any of the events?
Yeah, so I started getting a couple matches before the pandemic hit. I think it was like 2 or 3 matches, and then after that, I kind of had to step away from wrestling just so I can focus on the medical field for a little bit.
Okay. So you go back to the medical field. You start focusing on that.
Yeah.
How do you find Showcase Pro Wrestling at that point in time?
So after a couple of years, when the pandemic started going down a little bit, there's just, I don't know how to describe it. I'm pretty sure you guys may understand. You just have this urge that you just want to keep going with wrestling. Every day you just want wrestling. You just want to keep doing it. You want to keep doing it. And at the time, XWA just recently closed. So I was looking up professional wrestling schools, and you guys popped up. So that's how I found you guys.
Okay. Christopher, what do you got?
Well, it's the first night you walked in. I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So the first night I walked in at Showcase, I remember seeing Vega, Danny as well, Danny Cabral, one of the most nicest people you'll ever meet.
He's moody, though.
He is moody,
very
but
moody.
he's moody, but he's honestly one of the most hardworking people
I
you'll
like
ever
it.
meet.
Danny's
Yeah.
come a long way.
Yeah, Danny Cabral, everything, he deserves everything, honestly. I have nothing but respect for him. D-Rex was one of them. I remember seeing Pitch Perfect Rocky as well. Trying to remember who else was there, but yeah, just basically a bunch of friendly faces, nothing but respect for everyone there as well. Very welcoming, very open arms. Can't complain.
So how long has it been since you joined training at Showcase?
I want to see maybe correct me if I'm wrong, like a year and a half now, 2 years.
Around 2 years?
Right?
Yeah. Should be around.
I'm awful with time.
I am too, it's okay.
I'm absolutely terrible. I mean, especially with the pandemic, we lost so much time during that.
So, coming back in after a little hiatus from wrestling and starting training all over again, was it difficult getting back on track again and getting back on the bicycle and pedaling again? How was that for you?
It wasn't as difficult as I thought it was. It was more difficult challenging wise when it came down to your mental status, where you were watching everybody around you be so much advanced than you was, and yeah, you were training from 2018, where you're like, okay, I should get this, and then you don't get something, you're just really frustrated with yourself. It's more of a mental thing that's challenging. Other than that, not really.
Okay. I wanna backtrack a little bit. So coming into your first experience with XWA, were you open to everybody that you were a gay male, and how did people take you in? Did you get any?
Yeah. So with XWA, when I first arrived at XWA, I did not let them know I was a gay open male until maybe a year in. I think I came out to Matt Taven first in a promo where he was like, just be who you are, and that's when Jay Evans came out. And when I came out, I was kind of nervous a little bit, kind of not really sure what to suspect, but they were all very accepting. They all was like, if that's who you are, then keep going with that.
Okay.
So
all right. Chris.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't even remember like coming down to us.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how the conversation came up, or
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember?
I think I just cut a promo one day as well, and then everyone just kind of looked at me
Yeah.
sideways. So that, I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
what happened.
I've always said, you know, it's kind of if it's you, it's you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's yeah.
it's a shame that you almost have to hide yourself to be
Yeah.
yourself, you know, and this just in the world in general.
Yeah.
And you know, do you feel that being, I hate to say a guy that's gay. To me, you're just a guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so do you feel like almost you have to, I don't want, justify yourself, hide yourself, or can just be you? Is it in the wrestling world, in your professional world, in your private? When do you is there a balance, or is it a thing that you're always thinking about, or is it?
Yeah, in all honesty, I feel like my private life, I'm very comfortable with who I am. I'm very open with it. You guys obviously know I make jokes about it all the time. It is what it is. But with wrestling wise, I don't know why I have this mentality where I have to prove myself to everybody. I think it's just one of those toxic traits that you develop being a gay man, where it's like you constantly think that like, oh, like they think I'm different because I'm gay. In reality, maybe nobody cares, but in my mind, I feel like I have to prove myself more just because of like I'm gay, and I have to prove the fact that like I can kind of like hang with the guys. Yeah.
Now going back to Blackheart's question, do you think it's still a problem with, you know, society itself? You know, being an openly gay male and just people, the way that people pursue you and stuff like that in certain situations. Do you think it's a lot different now than what it was back in the day?
Yeah. So in all honesty, I think it is still quite a problem. You know, messages online, people still like kind of message me online, kind of sending some hateful comments and stuff like that, some hateful messages. I'm afraid to even hold like another man's hand because of the fact that last time I did that, some guy kind of came up to us and called us an F-slur, you know, and this was in New York City. And then obviously a couple years back with the whole New York incident as well with, you know, that guy getting stabbed because of the fact. So it is still quite a problem, but I feel like nowadays the generation's starting to become more open to the idea of gay people. So it's gotten better, but it has gotten like better to the point where it's no longer a problem.
Do you feel it's like I don't want to say modern day racism, but it's almost I don't know if it's the right classification.
Yeah.
But do you think people just dislike you potentially because you're gay?
Yeah, I think that comes to an idea where people may judge me just because of my sexuality, kind of stereotyping it as well, kind of like, oh, like just because he's gay, he must want me. When it's another man talking to me, in reality, that may not be the case. You know what I mean? I think people just get the idea that just because I'm gay, I talk a certain way or I act a certain way, or like, you know, I just find every man attractive just because I just like the same sex, which isn't the case.
Well, it's kind of like with sort of straight people. Just because it's a female doesn't mean she's attractive.
Yeah.
You know? And I think maybe that could be with their own insecurity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So going back into wrestling a little bit. So after, you know, beginning training again and you know, going into showcase, what are some of the favorite moments that we've had as far as wrestling wise so far in showcase?
So one of my favorite moments of all time, in all honesty, was actually the 6-pack ladder match that I've had.
Yep.
That was my first ever ladder match that I ever had. I know you don't like it.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I literally watched the last. I mean, I was peeking on it because when I'm hearing stuff, obviously, I'm concerned about people's safety. And, you know, when I see clips of it, and you know, I think he was looking around for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a highlight.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you were okay from it. But yeah, it's not my favorite.
Yep. Yeah. All right, we know, Chris. Continue.
Yeah, just the atmosphere of it, just, you know, the fact that, you know, obviously we all know that D-Rex won the title, just having the opportunity to kind of help him win that title a little bit kind of was one of the most highlights because my own honest, I have nothing but respect for D-Rex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, Danny? I see some comments.
Chris Dolmuth is saying, Jay, you're awesome regardless of your sexuality, but the fact that you're so open about it makes you awesome. And Jenny next door says, I love you, Jay.
I love you guys too. Thank you.
All right, so all right, so let's go back. Now I'm curious about the messages. What are people, are they wrestling people sending you messages or just off the cuff people or?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not quite sure. It's just people messaging me, just like basically like hateful comments, rather like all like seek God or like,
Yeah.
you know, just stuff like that,
Yeah.
just idiotic messages, very ignorant messages, kind of like stereotyping, like for example, like a couple of days ago, I received a message like stop spreading diseases just because I had the Pride banner on my Facebook. So it's like, you know, just ignorant messages like that.
Yeah, it's a shame that, you know, we still, and it's like that for everything, not just for sexuality. It's like that for race. It's like that
Yes.
for anything that you go against the grain. People feel entitled to, you know, put you down, and if it's not their cup of tea, they feel like they need to put you down and say hurtful comments.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit, you know, in 2024. So, you know, you mentioned the ladder match being one of your top moments here so far in Showcase. We've seen you recently in singles matches. What can we expect the remaining of 2024 when it comes to Jay Evans and, you know, developing the character Jay Evans or the person Jay Evans and your in-ring and Showcase?
You know, the one thing about Jay Evans I've always wanted to put into him was the fact that I wanted to see somebody like Jay Evans on TV growing up. You know, somebody who was very insecure with his sexuality. That's what Jay Evans is all about, was just basically being a role model that I wish I saw growing up. You know, but now I think it's time where I take Jay Evans and kind of not really take away from entertainment, but make him more of a serious athlete, a more serious wrestler. You know, I'm always, what you guys know, I'm always trying to improve Jay Evans. I'm always trying to add more stuff to Jay Evans. So for Jay Evans, I think you guys expect a lot more than just what you're receiving. You know, the best is yet to come.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So what is, you said a role model.
Yeah.
So what is a role model that Jay Evans wants to be for? Is it more of the gay youth? Is it the community or just in general?
It's just in general, you know, just don't be afraid to be who you are as a person, you know, regardless of what you are, who you are, or even what your gender is. People are always going to discriminate against you. People are always going to judge you. And unfortunately, that's just the human nature. You look at somebody, you're just going to judge them, you know. So for Jay Evans, I just want people to look at Jay Evans and be like, he is who he is. That's nothing but respect right there. That's what a role model is.
Did you see the Canyon story, or do you know the story of Chris Canyon?
No, I don't think I have.
Kid,
Chris.
we're gonna have homework.
Chris Canyon was a hell of a worker, and you know, everybody loved him in the wrestling business. But you know, it was unfortunate that his own, I wouldn't say insecurity, but just the fact that people got in his head and different demons. You know, he ended his life. He was a gay male.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff that you see on TV now, he was the originator of a lot of moves back then. So the guy was definitely someone to watch. Whether he was the mask character he portrayed in WCW, I forget his name, Mortis, or Chris Canyon, definitely one to watch. And like I said, it's a shame that the guy, you know, took his own life just because people don't sympathize for what makes others happy. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think some people knew it, but Chris never came out to him. He was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm trying to go off the top of my head from Dark Side. They're like, okay, Chris, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, it was like, you know.
Yeah.
And I think he made such a big deal in his head
Yeah.
that I don't think people would have saw him being less of a person. Just be true to yourself.
Yeah, I think,
you know.
yeah.
And I think that was the sad part about his whole story is, if you're a gay man, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, who cares? Or you know.
Yeah, I think
So-
it could just be the insecurity with him accepting his own sexuality. That could be the case.
I think what it was. I think that
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna do homework on that
All right.
in probably the next 2 weeks
All right,
for
that sounds
class.
very
But when
interesting.
we look at it, it's just, you know, and I'm trying to go back when you told us, I'm like, okay, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, I don't. It's not that I don't care that you're gay.
No, I know what
I
you
always
mean.
see you're Jay Evans, the wrestler,
Yeah.
who just has to be gay.
Yeah.
But it almost looks like, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, is been struggling with this or fighting it for like all your life, that it's such a big deal in the forefront for you, that it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it was very tough, especially growing up in a very Roman Catholic household, which, it did almost cost me my life multiple times, where I did try committing suicide twice because of the fact that I just couldn't accept it. I think I didn't really come to terms with my sexuality, where I was like, okay, I'm gay, until I was maybe 17 or 18. And I remember the first person I ever told was my sister, and I absolutely love my sister to death, you know what I mean? And I remember just breaking down in tears because I felt like she was going to look at me differently, but she hugged me and she was like, I already knew, you know?
And it's funny, that's not the first time I heard that. My wife's godson,
Yeah.
he knew when he was like 10 or 12, struggled throughout high school, and then when it finally came out, usually it was like a friend, usually it was a girl, and he's like, yeah, Nick, I knew that, we're just waiting for you to come out.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing, didn't know how the parents would take them, and it was that, and once I think it came out, people were like, okay, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And just him being truthful to himself. And I think that's the whole part. So, I mean, hopefully anyone who is listening, where you are struggling, no matter what it is, if it is, coming out or...
So
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, it's yours, Jay. This is your platform.
Let Jay, talk to the people, if there's young kids watching right now or someone that's struggling, to come out. And you said that you had many thoughts of hurting yourself, harming yourself. Talk to those people,
Yeah, and all honestly, what I can say to anyone that's struggling with your sexuality or even trying to question it, don't rush it. I know this is sound weird to say, but when to come out. It's not something that you should take, lightly, because at the end of the day, coming out is a very scary thing, but it's also, I don't know how to explain it. It's more like lifting a bricks off your chest kind of type thing. People may look at you differently. A lot of my family members stopped talking to me because of the fact that I am gay. Like my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, they no longer talk to me because of the fact that I'm gay. But the people that stayed in my life, I realized that are true family to me, because family isn't just people who you're born into. You can choose your family as well. And if you're afraid, then wait for your time. It's going to be okay, regardless of what you think or, how your parents might react, because it's always going to be the people who you kind of least suspect it from that will be there to support you throughout the way. And no matter what, you're never alone. Remember that as well. You're never alone, so. That's
right. So, it's crazy to think that, sometimes family members are, I would hate to say your worst enemy in some cases, but it's true. Sometimes you find people outside of your family that are the more understanding people, the people that will, give you a hand when you need it the most.
Yeah.
And that's just sad, but it's part of life.
Yeah.
Moving on to something a little bit more upbeat. Let's get into the plugs. June 1st, this Saturday night's main event, we return to the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena, 126 Main Street in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 7:07 p.m. bell time. The new and improved Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena, Chris Blackheart. Last week you were doing some plugs.
I was doing some plugs, and the good part is I mentioned multiple companies.
Well, yeah.
But if you look right here, 4A Home Improvement LLC, Brandon and his crew came down and helped us from the center, literally put the touches on it in the vision between him and Jay Hollywood and multiple people from the Showcase Wrestling staff. So yeah, so there's a lot of improvements. A lot of it is actually behind the scenes that fans won't see. So a great plug out there, 4A Home Improvement. They've done various projects for fans and people that we know from Showcase Pro Wrestling. So always reach out to them. Literally a good crew down there. Was that perfect?
That was pretty good. I think that one was.
Was that good, Brandon? You're not gonna text Vega and say that it's not 4A construction.
Okay, you keep plugging the other one. See how you just screwed
That's it. Go to 4A construction, all right? Forget home improvement. Go to construction. They'll bulldoze your house. Any neighbors that won't tell you. But in all seriousness, it's right there. Hey, Danny, right there. Good plug right there.
Next time we'll pull it up on the screen there. But yeah, going back to this Saturday night in Woonsocket, already signed. Big Sons of Liberty Championship match as Danny Cabral defends the title against the consistent one, AC. Also on the card, Jay Evans will take on the Damien. Is he high or what?
I don't know. I need whatever he's on. That's for sure. Whatever he's on, I need that. Because let me tell you something. Wrestling,
It seems like Chris Black was kind of high right now. So he's lost for words.
No, David,
he's very interesting.
he's funny as shit.
Yes.
Yes, David.
Well, this Saturday, all jokes aside, you just became the #1 contender for the YouTube Championship. The Damien ultimately is gunning out for that opportunity. So all jokes aside, all the fun and games will end this Saturday night in Woonsocket. Are you ready for the Damien? I mean, he's definitely a weird one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I'm cocky, but I've already beaten him, so it's like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you can't undermine your opponent, but just be ready because the guy is weird and he likes to take bumps and get high.
That's true.
In another match, the Educator. I forgot about that one.
I haven't heard from Spratt. I asked him to cut a promo from
He is scheduled to appear this Saturday night.
From his live. Boy, he is. No, he is. He's signed. He's signed against the young kid.
Kicked out his
the young kid.
his crap from Harvard.
You still think the young kid Macchia? Logan Macchia versus Spratt?
Yeah, the debut of Logan Macchia.
Yeah,
taking
I think that
on
could be
one
good. Spratt.
Educator, Christopher Spratt.
Maybe.
I mean, the kid's been training for several months now. It started as a school project. He continued on into training.
Spratt could maybe
And
find a new student.
He's finally going to make his debut this Saturday night in Woonsocket at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Arena. But that's even if Spratt shows up. I don't know, man. He had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I know.
And I wish I had footage of that. I'm not saying I'm going to laugh about it or anything.
No, we're talking to the production team. Hopefully next week we'll get some updated
withholding
footage. Well, some days when it does get shot, I don't know where it goes, but would Dan Badandi be in Woonsocket?
Yep.
Dan Badandi will be in Woonsocket as well. So there you have it. Saturday night's main event. That's this Saturday night, June 1st in Woonsocket, 7:07 p.m. bell time for that. Then 2 weeks from there, we're back in Peabody, Massachusetts. Royal Crown Wrestling returns to Peabody Friday night, 7 p.m. bell time with the former WWE superstar Paul London, who will be in the house. He will be in action, and a whole host of others. You could go to RoyalCrownWrestling.com for all the info on that big event in Peabody. Get your tickets, RoyalCrownWrestling.com. Then the next night, June 15, we're back in Taunton at the BFW Hall for Summer Blast. Showcase Pro Wrestling returns Saturday night, 7:07 p.m. bell time. Tickets on sale now. ShowcaseProWrestling.com for that.
Jay's got his own photo.
Yeah, I saw the poster there, Jay Evans.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you put that up there?
Yeah, I don't know. I like mine better, to be honest.
Well, yeah, look, you have a tan, you got arms.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's got tattoos. Yeah. Yeah, so there you see it, whether it's the original poster or the creation of Jay Evans. That's Saturday night, June 15, Taunton BFW Hall, ShowcaseProWrestling.com for all the tickets, SP Wrestling on all the social media, and subscribe to the YouTube channel here so that we can bring more content, including Tales of Ghosts with Chris Blackheart.
Showcasing ghosts?
Showcased in Ghosts.
I don't like that.
Oh, so you're going to go on the adventure with us?
Oh, I don't know about all that. I mean, unless you want to be my bodyguard, go ahead. I'll be hiding behind you the entire time.
No, that's not a problem. We do carry bodyguard.
What's that?
Even Carol wants to call him, I guess.
Yes, call 1-800-555-1212.
It's, what was the WCW hotline?
I used to know that one. 1-900-909-9900.
It's $2.99 with your parents' permission.
Yeah.
Don't forget to call. We got the latest.
Yeah,
with Hulk Hogan joining the NWO and Macho Man Randy Savage leaving the company. Don't forget to call the hotline.
Call for Mean Gene.
Yep.
Do you know Mean Gene is going to split on that?
I'm sure.
You gotta cut.
I'm sure he did, and deservingly so. I mean,
Yeah, you gotta. I think it was a 50% cut.
that thing was like you couldn't get it off your mind. The fucking.
It is.
It was crazy.
Did you call that when you were a kid?
No.
Did you know there was WCW when you were a kid?
If there was WCW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Danny was calling.
I'm not that young.
He was asking for. Danny was calling.
Are you calling the 900 number?
Yeah.
You did?
Yep, I'm calling.
No. Back then, did you call?
No.
I think Danny's been hanging with the Damien.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, it could be.
It's broken off on me.
Yeah, he's giving you some high notes there. But speaking of higher notes, I was just down in Taunton, not for wrestling last weekend, but to see my good old buddy, the real deal Joel Davis, who was on stage, and he was the main event, so to speak, at a pack house at the district in Taunton. And he was on his game. He was on his A game. It was great to see Joe. It was always great to see him, and he did an excellent job. Good comedy show. There you see picture. I believe Danny pulled a picture, and we have a clip. Joel and I
think the video was
shot the shit for a couple of seconds. Did you get the video? Oh, technical issues. You know, when it's live, all these things happen. But
So what's that photo? Is that a picture of you, Jay Hollywood, the real deal, the ring crew guy?
yeah, the ring crew guy, the jobber guy. I don't know who that guy is. I think he was just hanging around and he joined the photo. I don't know who that guy could
Was
be.
the driver there?
Donald the driver.
Yeah.
Joe, if you're tuning in, Chris Blackheart wants to know what happened to Donald the driver. I think the video just went.
Yeah, because the last time we heard, he got arrested down at Mohican for having some extra firewall.
So let's go to that clip right now of the real deal Joel Davis.
With the man of the hour, the real deal, Joe Davis, great job tonight, Joe. Here, Showcase Pod, Blackheart, time. But it's great to see you. Good job tonight.
Oh, it's great to see you. It's great. I feel great. I literally just got on stage. I headlined tonight. Great crowd, great energy here. It was great to see some of the boys from Showcase Pro Wrestling here in the audience representing. I brought it to the stage. And remember now, folks, it's every Thursday night. It's 9 p.m. It's live. Punisher Don Vega, also known as the man they call Vega, Don Vega. And Chris, like he likes to be called, the boss, Blackheart. You can't miss that monkey.
Can't miss the show, man. It was a good time. So you come see my boy, the real deal, because it gets raw and it's real.
And it gets raw and real. You don't miss it. And if you miss it, I'm going to take care of you.
Here live.
So there you have it. The real deal Joel Davis. Chris Blackheart, where is he coming up?
Well, actually, tonight, May 30th at 9 p.m. is Pete on the Street. He's going to be live.
Oh, that's why the real deal is
Pete,
going to be
yeah,
watching the
Pete on the Street. That's why maybe he's not
the
calling
replay
in.
of.
But I'm checking out right now.
Chat room. The
All
real
right.
deal's in the chat room.
So-
Oh, the real deal's on in the
All right,
house.
what do we got? Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
So where are you tonight, Joel?
Give us the plug, Joe. Where in the world is Joe Davis? Everybody wants to know.
It could be where in the world is Christopher Blackheart. I mean, he no show your comedy show, Joe.
Listen, Joel did hit me up, and I told him I won't be able to attend that.
He cave-faved your 20
You didn't even
messages
reach out to me. You didn't reach out to me. I saw it
on
on
all
Facebook.
platforms.
I saw it on Facebook 3
What a
days
friend.
later.
What
Yeah,
a
yeah.
friend.
I was cleansing. I know social media through the whole weekend.
Yeah, you are to a lot of messages on Facebook, though.
You were cleansing.
I messaged you like 4 times in the last 2 days.
Yeah, but it's gotten to a point where I have to message Vega now.
You said he's at
sometimes.
the television studio tonight.
All right, no, that was fine.
Yes, indeed. Back to Jay Evans. Chris Blackheart, you know, usually you're the quiet man. I'm going to let you take the reins. You were coming up with some good questions. And then
No,
you
we
got
got kind of deep, to say the least, and hopefully on that we can help somebody. But let's go back to wrestling, Jay Evans.
All right.
Now, I know when we started booking you out there, I saw you as a heel.
Yes, yes.
I'm like, you are a heel. You're very prickish in the nicest manner.
Yeah.
And it was, the women loved you.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing because I came out and I was expecting everybody, don't get me wrong, I thought I rubbed people the wrong way, but as soon as I got out, all the females loved me. So I was like, I don't know, it's the full boots or just the good face, I don't know, but
Are they like the boots? They like the gear?
I don't
They
know.
like the Evans? Is that what it is?
Maybe. They must love the Evans, I guess that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just very weird. Like the women, a lot of times they don't, they like who they like, and the men are split.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at them like, I don't know what we're gonna do with this one, but you can't. Sometimes you can't fight the feeling. You gotta go when the crowd likes or don't like it. No matter what we put together as a company, when you go through that curtain, the crowd dictates what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And but some days your mannerisms out there not very nice, Mr. Evans.
Yeah.
Like the women may be cheering you, but some of the stuff you do there is not the nicest stuff.
Yeah,
You're aggressive in there.
Yeah.
Some days you're very heelish, breaking the rules,
Yeah.
pushing your boundaries.
It is what it is. Some days you just got to do what you got to do to win. At the end of the day, when you take the win, it's not how you win, but it's how you win it.
No, I mean I'm not disagreeing with that, but
Well, we know you never disagree. When it
I'm
comes
just
to
looking.
cheating.
Maybe are you giving people like a false premise? Is Jay Evans the guy they should cheer for? Or are they the guy that they shouldn't cheer for? Or is Lily split?
I guess Jay Evans is whatever you want him to be, I guess. That's how I look at it. You want to love Jay Evans, love Jay Evans. If you want to hate him, hate him. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Jay Evans is going to do what's best for him.
I don't really get into the Blackheart thing here because, as you know, the last couple of weeks, Chris Pratt, he definitely hit rock bottom listening to this guy over there.
Hey, wait, I wasn't advising
he
Spratt.
does a commercial here, and look what happens. He
Yeah,
loses
I
it.
still have remnants of what the bastard. Can you believe? Look at it. Come on.
That was great.
Can you believe you said that stuff to him? A sponsor, our first paid sponsor, and he's saying this stuff to Spratt. Now, you know Spratt, right?
Yeah.
Did he try to educate you, or?
I mean, he tried, but he lost.
He's been losing left and right lately.
No, he has been. Have you talked to him since Taunton, or?
He's been losing himself. Danny, have you talked to the educator, Chris Pratt?
He's been MIA.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody's seen him, he's got a match this Saturday night.
Yeah, we have a missing person
Woonsocket.
out there. If anyone has seen Christopher Spratt, please check your local libraries.
Hey, there's one place I know for sure he's not at, and that is Harvard University.
I'm not.
You might have to downgrade.
Please
him.
check. Let's start. All right. Since it's only Thursday night, right? We got about 72 hours, or 48 hours, right? Can you please start at the Ivy League first in Taunton and work your way down to find out if he's in any of the libraries there. Hopefully, if we do find him before Saturday, if not, we meant to send an SOS out. He may be going to some of the local communities,
Well, it might
local
be good.
community
It might be
colleges
good for
that
him to-
he thoroughly shuns and puts down. But I mean, a library's a library. He may need that education.
He might be good for him to be hiding out. He doesn't need another loss coming up. So, yeah, might be good to go on a hideout for a little bit for the educator there, Chris Pratt. Going back to you, Jay Evans. What are some of the people that you have in mind in the future to go up against here in Showcase?
Well, obviously one of them would be D-Rex, which we'd be having the championship title soon to YouTube.
Let me make a list. Rex.
The next opponent I would love to wrestle, in all honesty, is Danny Cabral. I had a little taste of Danny in the tag team match with him, Spratt, and then the Damien and I. Unfortunately, at the time, every time me and Danny would wrestle, Spratt would get involved. So that's something I kind of want to see who's a better wrestler between Danny and I.
Everybody's gunning for Danny Cabral.
Of course, that title.
Well, Sons of Liberty.
They
I
want
want
the Sons
that.
of Liberty championship.
Anybody else?
There's a couple more
I like
people.
Santa some days, man. I'm checking my list, checking it twice.
Santa, who knows? Maybe he.
Kind of say who's naughty.
Hey, in 7 minutes or two, we
Maybe
may just
not
get jaded.
nice.
Yeah, Santa Claus. We saw the sketchy Santa Claus you had going around. Why are you giving me that look?
What are you talking about?
We had some sketchy Santa Claus running around last year.
You don't believe in Santa?
Christmas. I believe in Santa. I believe in the real Santa.
Wait a
Claus.
minute. Blackheart Claus is really good, by the way.
He might be good, but there was one that got speared over at the Torrent BFW Hall. Spear right out his wick.
I did see that. Holy, poor Santa, man. No cookies for him.
Going back to that really briefly. So you said Blackheart Claus is pretty good, and I thought that we had agreed that you were supposed to be in the suit in Torrent. What happened?
I didn't know that wasn't me.
It was definitely not you.
Vegas is calling you out. I'm
You
sorry.
just have a way to get yourself out of situations, huh?
Some days Santa gives gifts that people want.
Well, I'm
So-
sure he definitely didn't
So
want to
the
get speared. out
real
of his
story
boots.
was somebody came up to me and they were dying to be, Santa. They always want to play Santa. So I
They
said, well,
literally died.
Yeah.
and I said, okay. I said, but I'm supposed to be going out there and in the Christmas spirit. And they said,
What a-
please.
what a
And I'm
nice- what a nice
so I gave them my spot of being Santa, which ironically worked out well for me because he got cut in half.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So
last couple of years hasn't gone well for you. So
I have
guess,
not had a good Christmases.
I
in
guess
Toronto.
remember that postcard you had with the
No, I don't
hands
remember that.
and hands bond and your
I don't know what you're
your
talking
mouth sipped open. That was great. There was shirts running around about that.
Yeah, that made the family Christmas card. My
Yeah,
wife
that's-
put that. Can you believe that?
This shirt's on.
That's some good stuff.
Limited production.
I'm gonna have to look into that then.
Yep, might have to bring those back this year.
Yeah, a little crop top. I'll wear it.
Blackheart tied to a pole.
Bring it
Excellent stuff. So Jay Evans, talking about championships and all in showcase. Do you see yourself gaining eventually the YouTube World Championship now that you're the #1 contender?
Oh yeah, 100%. All respect to D-Rex. He's an amazing athlete. I can't take that away from him. I have nothing but respect for D-Rex once again. But at the end of the day, it's who wants it more. Yeah, D-Rex is young. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm hungry. There's a difference between being young and hungry. I'm starving for an opportunity. I'm starving for something to prove to everyone that I belong at Showcase. And that title is what proves to everybody that they belong. So, I'm gunning for D-Rex. Friends or not, he has something I want, and I'm taking it.
Well, it's not just him. It's multiple people that are gunning for that title.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
the YouTube title's got the 24/7 rules, and anybody, anywhere, anytime could go after you. So,
Yeah.
it's a big. I mean, we've seen D-Rex kind of in a hiatus. We haven't seen him around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what's going on or not, but we'll find out soon. The clock is ticking. And eventually, he's gonna have to come out of vacation and defend that title.
Well, yeah, the 30 days goes quick. So
30 days are up come the 15th of June in Torrance. I
if
believe.
I'm not mistaken, that's early to the day. So
So we'll find out what happens June 15 coming up on that. He's probably hanging with Spratt.
well, they were buds.
They're both missing in action.
Yeah, I was about to say they're both missing.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together.
Huh.
Look at Jay Evans, detective agency.
It could be something in the making there. It could be some weird stuff going on there with those two. Chris Blackheart, did you have a chance to watch any of that pay-per-view that just went on?
I didn't. Which one are we talking about? AEW or WWE?
There was two of them, so
I saw clips of the MJF promo.
yeah. Little Triple H,
Yeah,
the little Paul.
yeah. And as far as tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking it's real to be honest with you, but
Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that be real?
I don't know. Let's come on.
You don't appreciate the bodybuilder tan?
No. I'm like, but do you see? All right. Did Triple H ever have a WWE logo on him? Did Ric Flair have a WWE logo on
no,
him?
I don't think
Does
that's
Stone
that.
Cold have WWE?
I don't think.
I
That's
like
gonna
the
happen.
phrase if it didn't have the logo. So I think that could be airbrushed or whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
Or where he put it, he can always hide it.
Yeah.
You know.
Going back to some of the matches there, Will Ospreay was in action on that card, and that was a great match there. They also did a cage match.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, I seen Gangrel come out of the underneath there of the ring.
But you hear the story of that when Edge in WWE, his last run, he was pitching for it?
Yeah, they scrapped it.
Yeah, which is perfect. If that music went on his WWE run, that would have been, people would have went nuts with it.
Yeah, but it didn't really end so good for him though.
No.
Yeah.
So they definitely recycled that idea and brought it to AEW.
That was good, but it looked like was he trying to stand up and not finish the elbow instead of just hitting it and going through?
It looked like that. It was weird.
Yeah. I saw it. I'm like, why didn't he just?
It was weird. I think he just didn't want to land on his side. And it looked like he just was he jumped and he was just standing.
Yeah, and it was like,
yeah, that could have been bad both ways because from that height you can easily break a leg.
Yeah,
so
I know. When I saw that, I'm like,
we seen Uncle Jimmy do that before when he snapped both his legs off that scaffolding. Remember that?
No.
But yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
Jim Cornette.
Oh, I'm thinking locally the Mangles.
No, Jeff Mangles also broke his legs.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
I'm talking about Jimmy when he was hanging off the scaffolding and he fell and he broke both his legs. Yeah, that could be a bad one there. And going back to the other pay-per-view, the King and Queen of the Ring, kind of the predictions that we had with Liv Morgan going over for the title there. Good story going there with Dominic. Briefly, Nia Jax winning that women's Queen of the Ring. Cody Rhodes returning and keeping his title against Logan Paul. Did you watch any of that match?
I didn't. The fact that you actually just remind me of it, I'll go and watch it.
Yep. Did you get to watch any of it?
Yeah, I watched the Liv Morgan match as well. The ending was a little weird.
They continued that on Monday too with her and Dominic and
yeah, the kiss is what's getting to me. Kind of want to know what's that about.
Well, longevity. We'll find out if he's gonna be with her in the long run. If he's gonna turn on Rhea when she comes back. Possibility there. But everybody was talking big about that Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul match. I haven't got to see it yet, so I'll probably go back and watch that the next couple days. What, you got it up on the screen there, Danny?
Yep.
Then the men's King of the Ring. I didn't get to see that one.
That was good.
Who was victorious on that one?
Gunther.
Gunther was, and I talked about Gunther here before, and again, now that they put him over for the King of the Ring, I've always said it. He's gonna be the next world champion there. I mean, the guy checks all the boxes, and I think sooner than later he's gonna become world champion when it comes to the WWE. Christopher, what do you got?
I'm thinking Jay Evans. All right. What's the future plans for Jay Evans?
Well, hopefully gold around my waist soon.
All right. So a YouTube title. Mm-hmm. What else?
I'm kind of wanting to wrestle some newer guys who I haven't wrestled yet. Logan's kind of catching my attention. Kind of want to wrestle people I haven't gotten the chance to wrestle yet. Really, Osiris, maybe even Vega. Alex, your little tag team partner. Kind of want to explore some different options a little bit, see who I can wrestle, and I see who, different opportunities.
All right. What about higher inspirations? People in Connecticut knock. Would Jay Evans want that opportunity?
It depends. If the opportunity is good, I don't see why not.
Going into like different opportunities, there's a lot of, times have changed over time, and there's a lot of openly gay wrestlers, and they have different promotions where they have, individuals that are working and having their own shows.
Yep.
Is that something that you would be interested in the future?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't mind wrestling other like LGBTQ wrestlers. You know, I'm all about basically wrestling different people to see where I kind of can get my foot in learning stuff like that. I'm one of those strong believers where even if you're at the top of the game, you can learn something from somebody else. You know, you can never not just stop learning.
Yeah, you definitely never stop learning in the wrestling business and in life. You know,
Yes.
it's just you continue to learn and find out different things and, you know, discover different things from different people. With that being said, any social media you'd like to plug while we have you on here before we wrap things up tonight? Any Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, any of
Yeah,
that?
so just my Facebook. It's just Jay Evans. You can find me on Facebook, Jay Evans. My Instagram is Average Boy Jay as of right now. So
Okay. So make sure you go and check Jay Evans out. You post all your dates there, pictures, videos, all that good stuff.
yeah, my recent picture of just me in the poster that you guys
Yeah.
forgot to put me in.
Yeah, creative there.
Yeah.
Jay Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
He's,
I like the arm tattoo. I think that looks real good on me, Vega.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
he's got,
look good with the Puerto Rican flag.
he's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
he's no, it's the samurai tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, real creative there. But we'll get to see some more creativity this Saturday night as Showcase Pro Wrestling presents Saturday night's main event at the Showcase Training Center and Arena, Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 126 Main Street. That is a 7:07 p.m. bell time. And then you see it on the screen. Sons of Liberty Championship match. Title is on the line as Danny Cabral defends against the consistent one, AZ. You will see Jay Evans take on the Damien, and hopefully, if we find him, the educator Christopher Spratt will take on the newcomer debuting into Showcase Pro Wrestling, Logan.
Makia.
Yeah, you know those.
So tomorrow night,
Puerto
we'll be
Rican, I got an
tag team
accent.
match or singles?
Who, you?
Yeah,
Well, it all depends if Vega's ducking you or not. So.
yeah.
What?
Oh, I think Chris is trying to create some heat.
Yeah, this guy again,
What are
man.
you talking about?
Just do what we do all the time. Just in
All right, so the
yeah.
Bionic Beast, I'm waiting for it. Puerto Rican most wanted before the Bionic Beast. I mean, but on the other hand,
He's tried bringing people.
the Bionic Beast, I think they have to start getting some wins to get that title opportunity. So,
If we get tag team matches, nobody wants to face us.
all right, Jay Evans,
I'll face you.
you can find a partner.
Who do you choose as a partner?
That's a surprise. Gotta
Yeah.
keep you on your toes.
Yeah. So there you go.
He's not coming out to you.
No.
There you go. It's always Chris Blackheart tries to stay at the pot before he leaves, but that was good. I admire that. That was a good try.
They're saying they want AZ on next week in the chat room.
Who's saying that?
Who else?
Aiden
Aiden?
Carroll says he wants AZ on next week.
Tell him I'll apply the Chris Blackheart rule with him too. I'll ignore him.
Yeah.
With that being said, Jay Evans, thanks for coming on
course,
in
anytime.
the Showcase Pod. It was good having you for this week. Do you have anything else, Christopher?
No, just,
Never mind. All right,
just
for this
visit
week.
online at all social media at SP Wrestling. For all the updated, join the Showcase Wrestling fan page on Facebook.
Yep.
And we will see you Saturday night, 7:07 at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Arena. And I'll have a surprise for you that night, too.
You're gonna surprise me.
I am.
All right, with that being said, I've been Don Vega, Jay Evans, the boss Chris Blackheart. We'll catch you down the road in the Showcase Pod.